Hey y'all, it's Lauren. This week I'm talking about mental health and overcoming adversity with Holly Harrod. This is the Chicks and Dip podcast. What's up, y'all? It's Lauren back with another episode of the Chicks and Dip podcast for you. I'm so happy that y'all are here with me today. I have a wonderful episode. Before we get into it and I get into any further details, I do want to just issue a little content warning, trigger warning, whatever you guys want to call it. Today's episode is about mental health and overcoming adversity, and we do discuss suicide. So I do want to, just throw that out there. If that is a sensitive subject for anybody, just be aware moving forward, that we do discuss that. Not in, gruesome detail, but we do, it's a prominent theme throughout the episode. So, just be aware with that moving forward if that is something that is, a little touchy for you, and that is totally okay. Anyway, so before I get into it and talk a little bit more about our guest, I'm going to tell y'all a story that I just randomly thought about over Chips and Dip this week. So I don't know if you guys know too much about what I used to do, but at one of my former jobs, I sold advertising. I sold it for a newspaper, and I did digital advertising, print advertising, whatever. But this was my first ever sales job. And so on my first day, my former boss was like, okay, what you need to do first is just go meet your clients, go walk into these businesses and cold call. And I'm like, okay, cool. How do I do that? She's like, you just walk in, introduce yourself, tell them that you're new. I'm your new sales rep. If you ever want to place an ad in the paper, here's my card. I can't wait to, get to know you more and work together. I'm like, great. I got it. So first day, I hit one of the main drags here in Savannah. I got it. I come back and I'm like, yo, cold calling, I got it. I just introduced myself to everyone. Everyone was so nice. I can't wait to start selling. And, second day, my boss is like, you did so good yesterday. Go do it again. And while you're out, you should go by this store that the owner of the entire company, his daughter owns. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And she's like, so just go call on her. So I don't, this is so embarrassing. I don't know in what world I thought. Let me back up. I have only in this, at this point in time, I was coming off of a corporate news job. Okay. So a family owned company was not really on my radar. So I didn't take into account that, a small family owned company probably wouldn't make their relative, pay full price for an ad or something. And so I walk in to the daughter of the owner of the entire company's store. And I'm like, hey, so-and-so, I'm your new sales rep, I'm loving my job so far. How's your day going? And by the way, if you ever want to buy an ad, I'm your girl. Give me a call. And the owner of the store just goes, that's my dad, right? And I just felt so stupid for not piecing it together. You know what I mean? Like if the owner of a restaurant's daughter comes in, maybe no, she's not paying for her food, right? 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 If my sister if my sister owned a restaurant and I went in there to eat, I assume that I would not pay for my food, right? I would of course tip my server, but I don't right? Is that not how the world works? So I'm having these thoughts in my head, and I'm like, why would you say that? Why would you say that, Lauren? And so instead of just being like, yeah, of course, and playing it cool, I can't make this up, y'all. All I said back to her was, nepotism. Y'all. What is wrong with me? My second day on the job, I'm talking to the owner of the company's family, and I make a nepotism joke. What? Psychotic. And And so my face was like the color of this neutral can right now. It was so red. And I just went, and like, I don't know if y'all have watched New Girl, but Nick Miller, whenever he does something embarrassing or he feels uncomfortable, he just moonwalks out of the situation. I deadass started to like shuffle moonwalk out of the store. I was like, see you later. Have a great day. Nepotism. What? And so I went back to work and I was like to my boss, I said, I'm so sorry. I messed up big. And I told my boss what happened, and my boss just thought it was so funny. Like we laughed about it, and then that story, of course, got told to the owner of the company, then to the daughter that I had embarrassed myself. Everybody remembered. They were like, yeah, that was a weird thing to say. I was like, sorry, that's on me. That's on me. And yeah, you know what? That was honestly a great thing. Like my first sales job, just go ahead and embarrass myself right at the jump, you know? Second day on the job, just go ahead and say something stupid. Get it out of your system. And you know, I built a layer of tough skin doing cold calling. And anyways, yeah, so if anybody wants me to come in and make the owner of your company or one of your managers at work feel uncomfortable, just give me a call, slide into my DMs. I will come up with something extremely awkward on the spot. I got you. I'll never forget that. Anyway, before we get into it, y'all know I gotta tell y'all about Neutral. I love that every week I just like tell a story. I just like out myself for doing something more stupid than last week. And then I'm like, anyway, Neutral. But for real, thank you so much to Neutral for supporting this podcast. Neutral has been here with me through it all. They've been here. And honestly, I wish on the day that I had said that stupid comment, I had gotten to come home to an ice cold Neutral, you know? I didn't know what I didn't know back then. Now, I say something stupid, I'm like, that's okay. I've got Neutral at the end of the day, and Neutral will never betray me. What am I saying? I'm off the rails this week, y'all. It's Friday. I'm recording on a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. TGIF. I can have a Neutral because it's Friday. I've been in the studio for 5 hours. Anyway, thank you so much, Neutral, for supporting the show. Y'all know it. Y'all love it. It's a vodka seltzer made with real juice. And like, I can't stress the flavor enough. Like, it's not that like synthetic, nasty, like I shouldn't be drinking this flavor. It's really light and crisp and refreshing with like just the right amount of like fruit flavoring where it's not sugary. Do y'all know what I mean? Like sometimes you take a sip of, I don't know, like an apple juice. And sometimes you're like, wow, I see why they don't recommend drinking a glass of apple juice every day. Like it's very sugary. But the Neutral, it doesn't taste like that. You taste it and it's almost like a sparkling water, but with more flavor. You know what I mean? Because sparkling water, even if it's quote unquote flavored, sometimes it's like just not enough. Neutral is perfect. It's just enough. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's gorgeous. It's stunning. It's smart. It's crispy. It's delicious. I can't hype it enough. And so thank you so much for Neutral for supporting the show. You guys, check out Neutral on Instagram. I think they're just at NUTRL, at Neutral. Y'all can also find them at your local liquor store. I like to keep the cranberry pack at home. Again, I can't hype it enough. It's a crowd pleaser. I love it. Everybody that I introduce it to. You know, it's great if you're hosting. You're making a gorgeous dip. Have a Neutral. Welcome to my home. Great. Anyway, thank you so much, Neutral, for supporting the show. That was a chaotic sponsor read. Wow. Today's guest, she is my friend Holly, and she is coming on. This show is all about being in your 20s, and just the curveballs that life can throw at you. And so Holly has been through a lot of heavy things. She has overcome a lot at a very young age. And so I really am like passionate about, you know, of course I can share my experiences with you guys, but I'm passionate about finding and doing the work to find people who can bring you guys a different perspective that I can't give you. And so I haven't been through the things that Holly has been through. And so I hope that what she says provides a different perspective than I can, and just resonates with you guys and makes you feel just hopeful and thankful for the life that you live. And she's just got a really great message about overcoming hard things. And yeah, I'm wrapping up this episode. She just left from our interview, and I feel I felt like I had all the emotions. Like I laughed, I felt sad, I felt like I wanted to cry, I felt very hopeful, and in the end I just felt very like inspired, you know? I mean, she's an amazing person, and just learning some of the things that she's, you know, had to go through and learn so many hard lessons at a young age. It's like just very impressive to me, and I am very, very thankful for her being here today. That was a very long intro. So I will not wait any longer. I'm going to toss over to Holly right now. All right, y'all. I am on the set this week with Holly Harrod. She's a badass. She's a friend. Welcome to the pod.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I'm going to give you that treadmill shout out because you deserve it.
Yes.
Cam, Lauren is faster than you. Officially. I saw it. Sorry.
Look, I want y'all to know, because I'm always keeping it real. We recorded this episode, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
We got it back, and my introduction sounded like the worst sound your ears have ever heard. There was something crazy going on with our receiver. It was like, so I said, wow, okay, I'm not going to torture everybody on the other end. Do you want to come back in? So we're hitting this again, but I think it's actually going to be better, you know?
It is. It is.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm glad to be here.
So, you have like a pretty incredible story of overcoming just life in really like hard times, and like now knowing you, I came to know you, I feel like, on the other side. And like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
for real, like
definitely.
when I met you, I'm like, oh my God, like Holly's like the most positive, nicest, like coolest person ever. And it's just like crazy to see you now and to know all the stuff that you've been through. So that's what we're going to talk about, and give some people just advice on overcoming adversity.
Yes.
Okay. And I feel like we should go in chronological order. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Start wherever.
All right. I'm Holly. I grew up in Arkansas. I am one of 5 girls. I have 4 sisters, crazies. We're scattered from 2 years older to 18, so 33 to 18 now. Yeah, I played sports growing up. I went to college to play basketball. I played basketball for a year. I ended up switching sports, playing soccer. I did a little bit of cross country through that just because I was in good enough shape to run from soccer. And then I played in Kansas for 2 years and transferred to a school in Vidalia, Georgia, technically Uvalde. The small town has like, I think 0 population maybe. So I always say Vidalia because everybody's like, oh, onions, yeah.
The onion.
But yeah, so I went to school at Britain Parker. I actually played for a coach that coached in the conference that I played at in Kansas, and along with some girls that I played against in the conference.
Love it.
So we all ended up in the same team, same school here in Georgia, and that's how I ended up in Savannah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you get out of college, then what happens?
I moved to Savannah. I started bartending downtown.
Okay.
Got into some things that I'm not so proud about. That is about 6 years ago now. I was using substances, some nice party substances. I cold turkey dropped that. I reached a point where I knew I didn't want to be the person or do those things. And 2 weeks to the day of me getting sober, my mother committed suicide. And I can honestly say I don't think that I would be here if I would not have lost that substance.
Yeah.
So I fought a little bit of an addiction battle with alcohol after that, processing, going through those emotions. But yeah, 2 years later, I was good. I mean, it took me time to overcome the addiction and fighting the battle. I guess it's been 6 years now since my mom died. And I would say for the last 2 years, I've been on the other side, taking a dive into endurance sports. And yeah.
Oh, God. Literally, I've heard all of it already, and I'm like, I have like a pit in a good way. Because it's an important story. So, okay. I kind of want to go back. Is it okay if I ask you to tell people about your mom? Like, y'all were close, right?
Yeah, we were really close. I grew up playing basketball all over the country. My mom was probably my biggest fan. So we traveled the country together. And being a mom of 5 girls, like, she kind of got her wish. She got a little bit of everything. But yeah, so 6 years ago, I was in Savannah getting ready to go on a reality TV show. We talked about that a little bit last time.
Obsessed with that detail.
Yeah, I would have left in like 5 days, honestly, and I think that was for the better too, especially the lifestyle that sometimes reality TV shows portrays for people. And I was obviously dealing with some addiction issues and trying to overcome those when it happened. That I think that it would have definitely taken me down a bad path. But yeah, I got a call and my life changed.
Yeah. And so I think, which you and I talked about this last time, like I think there's a lot of people listening who have been touched in some way by suicide, unfortunately. And I know a lot of people who had absolutely no idea that their loved one was even struggling. Did y'all know that she was struggling at all?
No. Looking back, it's hard. Like, you really don't, like, she was the person behind the camera. She was the person that was taking care of everyone else's kids, taking pictures, doing this, There's 5 of us, so we did a little bit of everything. My mom was a crazy, insane gymnast growing up, so she always had the cheerleading and the gymnastics side of things, but then having some sports side of things. We all played basketball. We all played softball. But she never do I remember in my life, and I was 25 when she died, did I like ever think like she's so sad. Yeah. She is so sad. And it took a few days after she died for us to actually get a suicide letter. At first they were like, there was nothing. Finally we got a call, and that's when we realized that like she was in a place that like nobody knew. Like the writing, everything that was said was just totally off the wall of something that you would think she was said, but you really didn't really know what she was going through, And we talked about this last time. For so long, you are left with so many unspoken things, like the whys, the how could you, are questioning everything.
Yeah.
Your emotions, you're mad, you're sad, you're happy, you're thinking about the good times, but then you're so mad that how could somebody you love so much do this to you?
Yeah.
But that's when I had to understand that it wasn't because of me. It wasn't to me. And that, I think that's kind of when I had my mental flip of being able to come out on the positive side and dealing with things and understanding that everyone is going through dark times. Everyone is fighting a little voice in their head. It's just about controlling that little voice and being a good person to other people,
I just like hearing you say, and we didn't really touch on this last time, but like hearing you say that y'all didn't know that she was struggling is just such like a tough thing to think about as someone's daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
This sounds selfish, and that's just how the world works, but like I'm not supposed to worry about my parents until they turn like 85.
Right.
In any way, they're supposed to worry about me. It's like, and it's just, I mean, it just sucks.
Yep.
To not realize that someone was struggling,
And you don't, like at the time my mom had 2 of my sisters were still living in the house. We're all like age-wise, we're scattered pretty far, with there being 5 of us. So the baby was 13, Haven, Hallie was 15. So, like maybe the busy life of teens and things kept her busy to where she didn't show it. She didn't whatever, but no, I mean, I can say I never thought that would ever happen.
Yeah. And I think moms being moms, they're good at putting their shit on the back burner.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, your children, they're your world. At least from talking to my mom and other mothers, like you got to handle the house.
Yeah.
And handle everything else and kind of put yourself last in a way. And it is crazy, like whenever you become an adult, this is not like putting my mom on blast, like and spilling her secrets. And I'm also not trying to compare my situation at all, but like just becoming an adult and my like sister becoming an adult, like my mom has opened up to us about like, how your hormones change and stuff like that. And like, she said to me before, like, yeah, there was like 10 years where I was so like mad. And I'm like, what? you don't know because
Yeah,
you're the
you don't
kid.
know.
Like you
Yeah.
don't realize
Yeah.
that your parents have any problems.
Right. It's also kind of funny because like our friends Savannah and Dalton are getting ready to have a baby, and it's like new parents. You don't realize your parents just figured it out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
people don't have any idea going into this. And we
Yeah.
were just talking about this over dinner. They're like, I can't even change a diaper. And I'm like, the baby's due date is February 20th. You can't change a diaper? They're like, no. I'm like, right, you're just new parents. You're going to figure it out like every other parent does.
Yeah.
Like, but it's funny that we think that this crazy ideal image of our parents just like have everything figured out and they live in this perfect world just taking care of their kids. And you're like, as an adult, you're like,
It's not true.
That's not
It's
true.
scary.
That's not true.
And so like, I mean, you touched on your just emotions being a roller coaster, like in the like coming like days, weeks, months. I mean, what was that like? And you don't have to get like deep, but like you had to, you know, help with your siblings and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, so right away, it's obviously just a whirlwind of emotions. Everyone's fighting everything. Everyone's trying to figure out even how to piece our lives back together. So right afterwards, the 13-year-old moved. I mean, I think I came back to Savannah about 2 weeks afterwards, and she came back with me and immediately started staying with Ashley and I. And that was something that like I didn't know how to deal with myself or my emotions or how to help her deal with hers, you know?
Yeah.
Like we just knew that we didn't want to take them back to a public school where so many things were being said, people were mean, you know.
and 13-year-olds don't know what to say, how to act. It's a mean age.
No, like TMI, but luckily we had already crossed the cross for her. So we didn't have to have those conversations. She kind of already knew what was going on. Once a month it's happening, whatever. But she was so young that like, it's sad. It was crazy. And it was even crazier that I was dealing with so many feelings that I didn't know were even coming from me struggling with addiction, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I started drinking pretty heavily right away. So that also didn't help. It was like Fridays and Saturdays instead of hanging out, you know, I was like, woohoo!
Yeah.
Maybe even Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. I was definitely drinking quite a bit. And I think that like giving up a substance, I turned to a substance a little bit more. But yeah, she was out here for probably 6 weeks before Hallie came. They would go back and forth to here in Arkansas. That's where I'm from. That's where my sisters live. And we all just kind of homeschooled them and let them do what they wanted to for a year. And did not process much. It's taken years and years to fully not understand because I never will, but get to a mindset where I can deal with the things that I have been dealt.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't imagine processing addiction, period. Plus your mother's passing. Plus then having to fill a parental role at, how old were you, 25?
Yeah, 25.
I mean, the difference between just being a sibling and then being a caretaker, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it's a lot, especially because I was in a new relationship. I am picky about certain things. Ashley is picky about certain things. So we're also like trying to process how to take care of Haven, you know, in ways, and even Hallie when she got here. But also, you still have to clean. You still have responsibilities. Like, you still have schoolwork. Like, you know, like, but it was weird having to cross that line. And like,
while you know, lay in your bed and have one moment of alone time at night, and then you have to process your own feelings. I cannot. I mean, I can't believe you did that. Good for you.
Thank you. It was a lot, you know, like I said, I was happy. I was mad. I was sad. I was trying to figure out so many things in myself that I really could not give anything to anyone else. And I really had no business doing it.
Yeah.
I really did not. Not at the time.
Mm-hmm. And so, you said that you got into alcohol. Did you, I don't even know how to phrase this, but like, were you just so overwhelmed with everything that like you didn't even realize that, like you just said, like you had quit a substance and picked up another? Like, did that even occur to you at all?
No, not at all. And I really didn't know I never went to AA. And I am 2 years sober from alcohol now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I never thought until I gave it up that I was using it to suppress so many different things. Like I didn't realize that, 1 beer, 2 beer, 3 beers a night, but it was 1 beer, 2 beer, 3 beers to just bring me down.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bringing me down. It was just me not wanting to process things that were coming forward.
Right. Like numbing your
just
feelings.
numbing it. Yeah, just numbing it. And then once I finally quit, it was like, wow. God. A whirlwind. But that's when I kind of started my fitness journey, and it's helped a lot. Like it truly has helped a lot. Being outside, being in the sun. But mentally, it was crazy how many emotions I had once I gave it up.
Oh my God.
I mean, like I feel like I had 3. I was sad. I was either sad, I was mad, or I was didn't fuck it.
Yeah.
I didn't really I didn't care about whatever.
Yeah.
And then when I'm like, wow, the sun is actually shining today. I can actually feel a breeze. I can actually appreciate life.
And like all the different emotions that are branching off of mad. Like it's not just mad. There's frustrated, stressed.
Right.
You're like, I didn't know there was all this.
There's all this extra.
I can feel it all.
I just thought I was mad at the world and that was okay.
Yes, grief. I mean, there's so many different things. God. I had a question. Now it has escaped me. So you've told me, explain to the listeners, like when you decided I'm not going to be mad, sad anymore, and I'm not going to drink the way I am right now. Like what changed for you?
Well, I couldn't figure out why, even when I was having good days, I was having bad days. Like, I get just back to me being so mad. I was so mad. And I finally started to listen to things like, your story is 10% about what happened to you and 90% about what you made it. So I finally stopped feeling sorry for myself in a sense that, well, I'm sad and I'm mad because my mom committed suicide. Well, I'm sad and mad because I can't have a beer anymore. I'm sad and mad because I can't snort that line anymore. No. You're going to be happy. You're going to be a pleasant human. You're going to bring light to someone else's life. Like, yes, those things happen to me and they suck and they hurt every single day. They are a part of the little negative voice in the back of my head. And don't get me wrong, every day is not easy. But when I finally made the switch to change my outlook on life in a more positive way, it really helped me learn not to answer those questions of why or how could you or, being mad. It helped me understand that every human being is going through something in their head. We don't know what they're going through. So be nice to people, but also understand that it wasn't because of me.
Right.
There are way deeper things that I will never understand about my mom's whys. So I couldn't answer those questions. I had to stop looking for answers and start finding light in the life that I have left.
Yeah. Oh, God. If someone had told you what you just said, like a month after your mom passed, would you have listened at all? Like, do you think this kind of thing comes with time?
I think that I definitely had those people there.
Yeah.
But, it's so weird when you go back to the days and leading up or afterwards and you're replaying all those things in your head. And it's like so many people are just right there, right there, right there, right there.
Right.
But then you're lost in so many emotions that it's like everything is just woo, woo, woo. So I think that even if I did hear those, which I had very great positive people in my life, it's gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. But then I didn't see it, But it was more like learning it yourself.
Yep.
You know, people can want to help as much as they want to, but until you make that commitment to you, it's not going to happen. Or it's not going to happen in the ways that it needs to. You know, you're doing it because they're on your ass every day, not because you want to live longer. You want to have better days. You want to be a light in someone else's life versus people don't want to be around you if you're grummy.
Yeah.
You know, like.
You said it so perfectly a few minutes ago when you said even when I was having a good day, I was having a bad day. And like, I swear everyone can feel that. I have been so guilty of being like, I'm having a terrible day. And then I like take a beat and I'm like, did anything bad actually happen today? I'm just grouchy. Like,
Yeah, like why?
It's in your attitude.
It is in your attitude. It is.
And what did you do? You know, like I know like the time went by, you decided like did you wake up and go smell the fresh air? Like, you know, like how did you actually attain this and do it? And I know that exercising became a huge part of that.
Yeah, so really exercising is probably why I had that switch.
Yeah.
But I also was just like, I felt so bad for myself for no reason. Like, people go through things. People have hard lives. Like, so I just up and decided I was being lazy. I was drinking all the time. And I had been in fitness and sports most of my life. And that's something that I had kind of lost. Once in a blue moon, I would go do something for myself to make me feel better. But realistically, I wasn't doing that much that made me feel better. And so when I finally I don't really remember. I remember I up and decided to run 4 miles one day. You know, I don't know why 4, but I'm sick of this. Maybe I could go for a 4-mile run. I made it 4 miles, like a 12 to maybe 13-minute mile pace. I definitely stopped and walked and stopped my watch. So it might have been like,
you're like, don't count that.
Yeah, like it probably doesn't count. And at that moment, it was so hard for me, but I made it back and I'm like, wow, that sucked not only because I think that moment is when I realized that I had lost something that I loved doing for myself, but I also just overcome something that 20 minutes in, I was like, 4 miles?
This sucks.
Yeah. But you know, I remember like mile 3, I was walk jogging. In the last mile, I promised myself that I could finish this mile jogging, and I did. And then I would say that's kind of the start of me understanding that I can do things if I want to do those things. Yeah. You know, you really have to set your mind to it if you want to do it.
Yeah. And so then walk me through your training. Like, how did you get from the 4 mile with a walk in between like to where you are now? Well, or maybe tell people what kind of races you do now and then talk about how you did it.
So over the last 2 years, I have gone from running a half marathon to running full marathons. And over the last year, I've gotten into triathlons, half Ironmans, and maybe in the next year, a full Ironman. We'll see.
It will happen.
Yeah,
Knowing you, it will happen.
Crazy long endurance races. I have not said I would do a 100-mile running race yet, but you never know. I mean, 26 is a long freaking ways. But once I got into tries and have 3 sports, it's like, oh, this is kind of fun. You get a little bit of a reset.
This is kind of fun. I'm like, for sure.
It totally is. It totally is.
Yeah, I mean, I look up to you. I really, I do. Like,
thank you.
I would love to physically do that and go, that was fun.
You do. Sometimes you're like, I will do this again. I think after my first marathon, I was kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
You got a respect factor for those miles.
100%.
But then after my first try, my first was a sprint try, so it was like maybe an hour. Now I've gone up to a half Ironman, so like that hour didn't seem that long then, or now it doesn't seem that long. But I was like, whoa. I didn't like the swimming portion at all, but it's fun. It's fun.
How far is the swim?
For a half Ironman, it is 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike, and a 13.1 mile run.
Good
Lord. So double it.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's insane.
How long does a swim take you? I don't know anything about swimming.
So I think I was like just at 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
A little over. I need to be under 30 minutes, but I'm just not a swimmer.
You know something funny? I have dead ass said the words, I'm a good swimmer before. And like, I do the what did you call it last time we talked about swimming? The breaststroke with the frog legs.
Yeah, literally.
And I'm out here like, I'm a strong swimmer. What am I saying?
We'll take the podcast to the aquatic center. We'll check it out. Because I thought so too. I definitely am a breaststroker. Like, I'm a frog in the water. Like, I swim like a frog. And it doesn't work.
Swimming
it does not work as
give you like the most beautiful muscles though. My sister was on the swim team and she's so tall and she's always been a softball player. She did a little bit of volleyball. But whenever she started swimming, I was like, you look like a supermodel. Like her muscles just got so like long.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, especially in your shoulders and your lats. Like,
amazing.
It's so funny.
Anyway, so okay. Your training, like, I don't know how to ask this either, but like, do you feel like your like emotions and like the mental side of who you are like directly correlates with physical stuff? Like whenever you're going through something hard, do you feel like you channel something?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that like when I am having those hard times or sad times, I want to go I want to go run. I want to go do something physically challenging. It's kind of my therapy, you know, like I tried doing the whole therapy thing. I didn't really shop around for a therapist. Maybe a couple years after my mom died, my sisters were starting to get into therapy and stuff. And I tried it and it just like, I'm like, when I left that hour, I was just kind of like, but then I can go for a run for an hour by myself and really maybe more of a meditation, maybe, you know, I don't really know how to explain it mentally, but even going with my friends, I just mentally can process and feel a lot better after that hour of exercise than I really did with therapy. Yeah. So it was kind of like, I'm out on this. But it's funny because my sisters are like, I have a sister, Holly. She's like, all right, I'm calling my therapist on Monday because this shit ain't happening, you know? Like, and I'm
I will be calling my therapist.
Okay, 5 a.m. tomorrow, I'm going to the gym. And she's like, well, you're dumb. And I'm like, well, maybe you're dumb.
Have fun talking for an hour.
Yeah, like, I'm going to go look at my muscles.
Yeah. It's so true, though. Like, everyone is so different. Like, Cameron is not a talker, and I am very much. I mean, clearly, I do it for a living. But, like, what makes me feel good is to beat this horse to death. I want to talk about this until there's nothing that I haven't repeated 5 times. That makes me feel good. And Cameron is like, what makes me feel good is to, like, remove myself for an hour and then come back and just, we're good.
Yeah.
Everyone is so different, and I love to hear people talk about, like, physical things that feel like therapy. I think that's so cool.
I think it's so funny because within the 5 of us and even my dad, I think that like you can see so many different ways that we have all 6 changed or overcome or done things differently since my mom died that have helped us all get through it. Yeah. You know, it's crazy to think about.
How do you, I mean, of course, that is a major life event and obviously would change you in any way, but like, how do you feel like that changed your just outlook, like, about life?
Yeah, I think that it really made me change how much I appreciate little things, you know, like the last time we talked about the lady at Starbucks. Like, there is no reason for that, like a messed up coffee to ruin your day. Yeah. Like, you know, you were saying like, you're having a good day, but you're having a bad day. Like, why are you having a bad day? Like, in that moment, you need to think to yourself, like, is this day really bad? Well, nope. I'm alive, first off. Yeah. I woke up this morning. I am feeding myself. I get to do all of these things. And I think that we do forget about that. But that is one thing that once I lost my mom, I understood that I can live without a lot of things. But there was a lot of things that I was living without because I wasn't appreciating enough.
Yeah.
And being grateful.
Damn. I also love when people describe life as I get to do this. I've talked about this on the show before, like the difference in just saying I have to go to a meeting versus I get to go to a meeting. I mean, how can that not make you feel like, wow,
yep,
lucky me, I have opportunity everywhere. Like, I think that's a really positive outlook to have.
And that's one thing that I tried to change. It was so much about, I have to get up.
Yeah. I have to go to work.
I have to go do this.
Yeah.
No, like, good morning. Feel the sun. Enjoy the breeze. Enjoy your sip of coffee. Even if it's not right, it's fine. It's still caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's really taking moments of life in versus letting it like just blow by you. Life is so fast. Yeah. And that's one thing I definitely learned after my mom died is how fast life actually moves.
Yeah. Does it feel like it's been 6 years or does it feel like so quick?
That I was just thinking about this morning. It feels like the things that you remember about your mom, like to this moment, I can still feel my mom's hands or feel the way that I felt in her arms. And those things make me feel like, whoa, it was so long ago. Yeah. But then in the moment, I'm like, it's really not that long ago. Like it feels like yesterday I was getting that call and my life was just whoop.
Yeah. I could cry. I like literally just like got a little tickle in my throat and the weird thing in my nose when you said that.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Will you tell, I don't know how we worked it into our conversation last time, but will you tell them the worm story?
Yes.
I just loved it.
So, I think we were talking about like if I had always just enjoyed hard things.
Yes.
Yeah, like athletics and stuff. And I have. Like, I was telling you, I grew up on a row crop farm in Arkansas. So being outside and doing hard things was my thing. I also was one of 5 girls growing up on a crop farm. My dad was like, who's picking peas at 5 a.m.? Like, let's go.
One of y'all.
Right? I could drive a tractor before I could drive a truck. But so I don't remember how old I was. I had to have been, I would say 5 to 7-ish, because I still kind of remember it. Uh-huh. But my mom was washing clothes one day and opened the washer and there was a baby copperhead at the top of the washer. My mom screaming. Like I can literally still hear her screaming, Brent! Holly! Like, they knew it was me. And I remember like being like wrapped up in a towel, like running in there. Mom, that's my worm. Like I really thought that it was a worm. And she was like, Holly, this is not a worm. This is a snake. Like you do not pick up things like this. Me, probably as a little Arkansas kid's like, that's my worm. It is so funny. But they always tell this story to embarrass me. Like, you could have died. Nope, it's just my worm.
That's just me. Like, I think that's so cute and so funny. Also, a copperhead.
A copperhead.
You were so lucky.
A copperhead. Like, apparently I told them it was dead when I put it in my pocket. Like, thank God.
Lies. They know you're lying.
Who knows? Because I definitely don't remember.
Oh, my God. This is so funny. I was like, literally, whenever we started recording, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to work the worm into this, but we will tell this story.
Yes. So.
Okay. And so while we're like talking about like sweet memes and stuff, you told me last time that you do believe in people who have passed, like communicating with you.
Oh, definitely. I definitely believe in it.
I do too.
It's funny. We have a lady in our life, Peggy. It's one of Ashley's dad's best friends, and she lost her husband. And she's like one of the first people after my mom died that was like, she's right there. And I'm like, yeah, she's right there. Like, you just kind of have to accept those signs. Like, want her to show, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so one day I remember like I was having such a hard morning, and I'm pretty good about it, but like some days it's just man. So I was kind of sad, and I was driving down Henry or Anderson, whichever one goes whichever way. I never remember. And I like look up and I see a license plate that was an Arkansas license plate, and it had like a couple other numbers, but the middle numbers were KH0520. That is my mom's initials and the day that she died, and for where I'm from. And in that moment, I was like, whoa, like immediately had to call my sister. And like now when I see stuff, it's kind of funny. I'm like, hey mom, like, but I like call my sister and I'm like, you'll never guess what just happened to me, like, and she's like, oh yeah, like I see redbirds all the time and it's mom. And I'm like, oh, this isn't new to you. Like,
yeah.
She's like, no, I talk to mom all the time. I'm like, oh, okay. But it was like, that was one of the first times where I was like, cool.
I
cool.
feel you.
I feel you. Like, I see you. I know that you're here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like have chills.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like insane.
I was like, I wish I could find the license plate.
Right?
Like maybe they were passing through. Maybe I don't know. Like maybe I have not seen it since.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, I love that your sisters were like, oh yeah, no, like we're doing this.
Yeah.
You needed like an obvious thing, and now you're like, gotcha. Yes, ma'am, I'm on board.
Literally, I'm like, cool. Like I was telling you, we just went to Arkansas for family holiday weekend before we recorded last time, and we were all saying our goodbyes. I'm one of 22 grandkids on my dad's side.
Oh my God.
Sheesh.
That's insane.
The oldest is like 34 now, and the baby's like 7, 8, I don't know.
Good
so
Lord.
There's also great grandkids involved now.
Mm-hmm.
But we were all saying goodbyes, and it's like hundreds, and a redbird, my sister's like, let's go, and this redbird just like swoops in, and she's like, all right, it's Christy. She's telling us we got to go. And immediately we're all like,
Mama said get in the car.
Literally 5 minutes, we're out. We were gone.
I love that. I think that kind of thing is so special and comforting, like.
Oh, it definitely is. Especially in those moments that you like miss them so much, and you like something so little can just maybe send you a core memory of like, wow, that was so nice. Mm-hmm. And I am okay. Like I am okay. Yeah.
Do you feel like whenever you're racing and it like sucks, do you like think of her? Do you think that she sends you signs?
Oh, definitely. I shared this story a little bit last time, but so kind of when I started to make my mental switch is when I started turning to fitness, I guess. And I decided the first time to run a half marathon, my first half marathon, and raise money for American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. And the night before, my Facebook was going crazy and my phone was going crazy, and I answered to finding out that my roommate from college had also committed suicide. So that was another whirlwind of whys, whats, how could you? And I went back to that, Donna, I just talked to you on Tuesday. How could you do this to me? You knew I was running this race on Saturday for suicide prevention, for my mom, and you did this. No. Like it wasn't me. I maybe was the bad friend who didn't check in enough. But in that half marathon, I wasn't going to run the half marathon. It was the next day. But in that half marathon, I did. And that was the first race that I had kind of gotten into that pain cave that we talked about a little bit last time. And I accepted it. Like, hey, Mom. Hey, Donna. I know you're together now. Somebody give me some juice because I'm dying down here. Like, I'm dying, And maybe it's like me just thinking about the good things and I get a spurt of energy or the caffeine that I'm taking.
Yeah.
But most of the races that I race, I'm asking for some energy from my 2 favorite guardian angels for sure.
Oh my God. I could just cry. I like going through that once and then having that in an instant go back to the lowest low, I imagine.
Definitely.
I just can't imagine. And you pulling yourself through that again is like such like a testament to how tough you are and your outlook on life. Like, it's just incredible.
It has definitely been a long road coming, but it was crazy because I had already mentally started living in a more positive outlook. How can I make life better? How can I live longer? And how can I help others appreciate life enough to want to live longer, Yeah. And then in that moment is when maybe that's the moment that I truly got tested of how good are you doing,
Yeah.
Because for those days I was right back to, like I said, the whys, the how could you, I don't know. But then it's like, you have to remember, as dark of a place that they were in, they would not want you to live in a dark place like that.
Yeah. Oh. Were you like crying the whole time you were running that?
Yeah. Maybe not the whole time, but I cried a lot.
Yeah.
I cried a lot. A lot more than I expected to. Because, when I got to the start line, I was like, okay, I had been obviously upset most of the night. I probably didn't even sleep that much. But throughout the race, it was like, oh, so excited. And then I'm like, why aren't they here? I can never do these things with two of my favorite people. And I think that's a little bit of my why I continue to race. It's obviously pushing myself past boundaries and doing things that I never thought were possible, but definitely doing things for those who can't or don't get the opportunity to.
Yeah. And so I love what we talked about last time. You ran, was it Boston?
No, Chicago.
There we go.
Boston, goal.
Oh, wow. I'm manifesting for you.
Yeah, literally. Put it out there, baby.
Chicago with, what's the foundation? American
Foundation of Suicide Prevention.
There we go.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
I did. So I got into my fitness journey. I ran one marathon, kind of got out of again. That's when I decided to give up alcohol. It had been about a year since I ran my first half marathon when I gave up alcohol and decided, all right, like, better life, brighter life, do things to make your life longer. Yeah. And I just started running, started working out. I was telling you, I saw a post of Melissa and Chris Ramsey running a half marathon. And in Louisiana, I was like 3 hours away. In the training block that I was in, had an 11-mile run that morning, and I up and was like, is the sign up still open? Yep. Cool. I can be there by 11 o'clock tonight. Let's go. So I went, got a hotel, barely even slept in the hotel. I'm out of the hotel room by 5 to go get to the start line. But I ran a half marathon, and the second half marathon I ever ran, and it was 20 minutes slower than my first, I think. And I, at that moment, was like, you know what? If I did this, I'm going to do a full. So to that day, I had 50 days until my first full marathon. Yeah.
Was that in Chicago?
That was okay. Myrtle Beach. And then after I ran Myrtle Beach, I missed my time by 5 minutes. And so I was like, I'm done. I'm doing it, but I want to do something else to do something bigger with it. And that's when I found out that Chicago Marathon took entries for foundations. You raise money and fundraise to be able to get your entry to get into the marathon. So I raised, I think it was a little over $3,000 to get in. Oh, wow. Yeah, it was really cool. So I got a cool race bib that everyone there that ran with the foundation also had. And on the back, it had like who you were running for, or you could get pictures put on them or anything. Yeah. So I ran my first full marathon in May, and then October is when I ran Chicago with the foundation.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And seeing so many people who you obviously know have a little bit of the same story,
Yeah.
And people were asking, we took pictures and stuff. It's funny. There was like a 10-mile I think 19 or 20, that is like all the foundation. So you just like turn this corner and all of a sudden all of these people are just like boosting. There's all these different tents for every foundation and nonprofit and stuff. And I remember seeing this guy, Steve, that I had now at this point been talking to over the course of almost 2 years about, I went through my first, because the first time I raised money, I didn't have any team thing. It was just like, I'm going to make this, ask people for donations and see how much money I get. But I still had to correspond with him to like set up the foundation and stuff. Right. And then all of a sudden, like I remember seeing him with a camera and was like, "Hi, Holly." And I have this picture. It's on my Instagram of me waving at him, and he emailed it to me, and I'm literally like, but like, it was so crazy. In that moment, I was like, wow, like this guy organized so many of these people. And I know you, but I had still physically never met this man.
Yeah.
And I still have not met Steve. I've never shaken this man's hand or given him a hug, but I have this incredible picture of me from the Chicago Marathon from him that he took of me.
And all of these people who are running for the same cause as you, I mean, you don't know all of them either, but did you feel connected to all of them just because they get it?
Definitely.
Like really get it?
Definitely. There was one guy that passed me in the marathon in the same bib that I'm in, obviously. And he was just like, "Hey, your mom and Donna's thinking about you. Like, we got this." Ran by me, Don't know who he is. Don't know his name. Just know he had a picture of, it looked like a younger guy on the back of his shirt, whoever he was running for. And words of wisdom, and off he went. But yeah, so it was like nice to, it's not nice to see that many people who are affected by it, but it was nice to know there are people who understand a little bit of my story.
Exactly. Like they personally feel it.
Yeah.
Like they get it. Get it.
Yeah.
What is it like to have you could raise money for this foundation and these people who understand you, but what is it like to get to do that through running, which is something that you love?
It was a lot of fun. I never knew how I could take running and turn it into something so good, but I think over the course of both races, I've raised almost $10,000. I've got like these cool shirts and stuff that they sent me, who are you running for, but it I don't know, it maybe shows people that you can create a brighter story with a not very great one to begin with.
Right. And in a way, does it feel like, which you said that you run for them, so I know the answer is yes. It probably feels like a way to honor and remember them outside of just, pictures at your house and stuff. Like it's something bigger and that's closer to you because it's like what you love to do.
Yeah, it definitely did. It took my soul. I definitely did not hit goal in Chicago, but being able to run and do those things in honor of my mom and Donna, but also know that the little bit of money that I raised could possibly help another family or someone who is in those thoughts, in that dark mind space of, giving them more awareness, how much more social media marketing could American Foundation get because of those few $100, couple $1,000 that I raised to help other people. So that's where it really makes me feel a lot better, like thinking that it is moving forward.
Yeah. And so that is kind of a good segue. Like obviously mental health, people talk about how much of a crisis it is for everyone in America, but especially, young people. And that's kind of the audience of this show. What is something what are actual action steps that people can do to help themselves and to check on their friends? What can people actually do about it, do you think?
First, I would say truly love yourself. You only get one.
Yeah. Damn.
So there's so many little things that the little voice in your head might be a little bit more negative over your, I am Lauren and I am flaunting it. But you can't let that little voice, truly love yourself. And if there is something you want to change, you can't see change without accepting it. You know, you have to change something. So if you're not happy and you're gloomy and you're being that way, you know, if you're being negative in that mindset, you're going to see negative times. You are going to have those bad days. So love yourself, take care of yourself, and just be freaking nice. And understand, like, so many things shouldn't upset you, and let that moment, like, take your whole day. Mm-hmm. You know, like, you spilled your coffee and you're pissed off on it for 2 hours, but then your whole day is ruined, you know? So why let those little things bother you, you know? So yeah, love yourself, take care of yourself, and check on the ones you love. But while taking care of yourself, find things that you love.
Yeah.
Go outside, feel the sun, feel the breeze. Take little moments in and slow down a little bit. Yeah. You know, I feel like everyone moves so fast. You do think about your friends and you do think about yourself. But in the same sense, everyone moves so fast that you really don't think about the little things or appreciate the little things. So, like, it is a lot about taking care of your friends and the ones around you, but you first have to take care of yourself. So I think that people finding true self-love helps their friends help them.
That makes total sense.
Right? Like,
it's all connected.
It's all connected. Like, yes, I think that your friends should check in on you.
Totally.
And you can see a swing in people's attitudes, or how, you know, last week if I asked you if you wanted a nacho and you were like, get those nachos out of my face. And this week, you know, you're going to want. But you can see how people that you're around change their attitude about things. So, like, hey, you all right?
You good?
I'm over here if you need me.
Yep.
Just remember, it's just a little piece.
It's just a nacho.
Just a little piece. It's just one chip of the nacho. We got a mound, baby. We got a mound.
Nacho. Yeah. I love that. And we have, I mean, on many different lanes, like what you just said applies to life, like just overall taking care of yourself and finding things that, like, bring you joy. We talked about that on the fitness episode. We've talked about that in an episode about business. Like, little things. And this sounds so stupid. I know this sounds so stupid, but I went on a tangent one time about something that is going to perk me up is freaking self-tanning, okay? It seems so stupid in the grand scheme of life, but that right there is something that I know that whenever I do that, it's going to set the tone for my day and it's going to be good. So why would I ever slack on that?
Right.
Like, and whenever I do slack, you know what? I'm grouchy.
You're grouchy.
And, like, literally in the scheme of this whole conversation, that sounds like the silliest, stupidest thing, but I think that it starts with little things in your life.
Yep.
Take care of yourself. If you really, really don't feel like exercising, go for a 10-minute walk. Like, do something.
And that's where I was talking about. Like, if you have found that fitness, which we can argument, even if you haven't found it, it does help.
It's so good for you.
It's so good
There's
for
chemicals
you.
there.
Like,
it's science.
Sorry, guys. If you're not into it, you probably should. I'm not saying go crazy. I'm not saying run marathons. I'm not saying lift every single day. Just a little bit.
20-minute walk, you guys.
Don't have time, you do have time. You do. 15 minutes. 15 minutes of moving. But appreciate those moves. And then when you're done, understand you just did something that you didn't think you could do.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little coin to love yourself.
Yep.
Like, just keep putting them in, baby.
I love it. I just did that 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
I just took the 15 minutes to self-tan. Whatever it is. Like,
whatever it is.
Take care of your mental, your physical.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And love yourself and love others. Like, I hate, don't read a book by its cover, you know? Like, I really do hate that. But people truly are so much deeper than that. Like, it's kind of funny when I see somebody around now. 3 years ago, I would have been this grouchy ass in the coffee shop. But when I see somebody, whether it is someone ordering or someone taking that order, just grouchy. I want to be like, hey, it's not that bad.
Let's perk right up.
Hey, okay. Like, life is so much more.
Yeah.
It's so much more. Yeah. You just have to appreciate things a little bit more.
I love this message.
The little things matter.
Yeah.
The little things do matter.
Goodness. You've kind of answered. Well, I'll ask you this question too. What advice do you have for the listeners who may be facing adversity, just hard things? Is it kind of, I mean, I'm sure it's similar to what you just said, but someone is in the thick of it that you have been in before. What do you have to say to them?
In the gut of everything, truly believe that it is going to be okay and know it. Know that it's going to be okay. If you think that you are questioning things mentally, maybe suicidal thoughts, reach out to someone or do something that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
If it is finances, if it's jobs, if it's you just got your car wrecked, the car is replaceable. It's okay. I know it is stressful and it's annoying. There's so many different processes. If you lost your job, it sucks. But luckily, we're in a job market right now. Everything can be replaced except yourself and the moments that you're living in your core memories. Like, make memories that you love. Like, you just, like, know that everything's going to be okay. Like, it is going to be okay. And, like, I told you this the last time. People will be like, this is so trauma response. But if I learned one thing is, if I can live without my mother, I can live without a lot of things. So that spilt coffee or that lost job or that lost bumper on your car, you can live without it. Yep. It also can be replaced.
Yeah.
So the things that are replaceable, let those little things just be little things. They can come back. Yeah. The things that you can't change, this sunny day in Savannah, take it in. You don't, those memories with your friends, take them in.
Yeah.
Be good to yourself.
Holly, I'm so happy that you came on here because, like, we touched on this last time, but, like, I can talk into the void and try to hammer home this message, but I don't have the perspective you have. I'm over here talking about fucking self-tanner. And then, like, in comparison, but it's like, all perspectives are valid on this show.
It is.
But I'm just so thankful that, like, you have come in here and you're like, you want to talk about a bad day? I will tell you about a bad day. And that's not something I can provide for the listeners. I'm so thankful to you.
Well, thank you. I have had bad days. And I'm not saying that everything is going to be a freaking strawberry dipped in chocolate. Like, it's not always going to be lovely things.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It takes work. But you can do it. Mm-hmm. It's about the want to. Do you want to live longer?
Yeah.
Go to Orange Theory. You want to live longer? Eat better.
You're speaking to me big time.
I mean, we talked about it last time. Like, if you want to see change in your life, you have to accept those changes and make those change. Like I said, like, if you are living in a negative, oh, poor me, oh, sad me, which I was doing. I was mad at the world for no reason except me not dealing with me, internally not loving me, asking so many questions that didn't need to be answered with the mindset of, that's my story, it sucks, poor me.
Yeah.
No, it's not poor you. I get to wake up. I get to live my life. And I get to be a light in someone else's life versus a grouchy ass human that just feels sorry for yourself. Yeah. Like, you do good, you love yourself, you put good out there, good will come back to you.
Why? I think this is my last question. And then we're going to get to what's on the table.
Shot.
Oh my God. Why do you think, we know your why for competing, we know your why for, like, life. Why do you want to, like, why did you come on the show? Like, why do you want to share it?
I wanted to come on here to let people know that, I have a very hard story, and there are thousands, millions, trillions, whatever, people out there who also have hard stories. But if you take your story and it's only a little bit of what happened to you, and the rest is about what you make it. So have that flip of life can truly be as good as you make it. So I understand you've had a hard background, but you can have a brighter day. Take it day by day.
Yeah.
And do good. Like,
yes.
I don't know, like, move, laugh. You know, I mean, I'm going to always go back to moving because fitness and moving is my thing. That's my vibe. Maybe smiling. Like, I love smiling and hugging.
You do love smiling.
I do. For a long time, I didn't. I was a grouchy ass human that nobody wanted to be around. Like, for what? Because I had a hard story.
Yeah.
Everyone has a hard story. So understand that if you love yourself and take day by day and don't take in the little things, slow down. Appreciate that you got to wake up and you put on that cool blue shirt today.
Yo, yes.
And yourself, Tanner.
And myself, Tanner. I got to tan.
Yeah, but like if you walk outside and somebody tripped you and you fell over, be upset for a couple minutes because they're a mean person.
That's an asshole. Tripping people.
But that's them. Shoes? That's not you.
True.
So take care of you, be you, and don't let so many outside things dictate what you're thinking and what you're feeling.
I love it.
I love it.
I should have peed. I can't take this ginger shot without peeing really quick. Oh, no,
you're doing it. You're making up excuses.
No, can you tell them what it means while I pee really quick? Like, will you?
This ginger shot, what it means
like, can you explain it? Okay, wait.
Yes,
I'm going to pee like 30 seconds. Ready? Tell the listeners what we're doing.
1, 2, 3, go. Ginger shots. A ginger shot is something that some of my race friends and I do, a race tradition. It comes from Run Johnny Run. Shout out to him, somebody that has been a huge part of my fitness and my running journey and even into my triathlon journey. So we are now going to take a ginger shot together whenever Lauren clears her bladder. I'm just going to go ahead and open these. Yeah, I don't want you to pee your pants.
If y'all are on the video, I literally didn't even button my pants. They're still unbuttoned and my shirt is now untucked.
Here we are. I probably should have shaken that a little bit, maybe.
Oh, should I close it and shake it?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Y'all are going to, oh wow, this is like ASMR for you guys. I'm going to close it. Can you hear that? And I'm going to shake it in the mic. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
This is a sexy podcast now. Oh, my God.
And it's about to get spicy.
I'm scared. Okay.
All right.
What does it taste like?
Ginger. It's a straight ginger shot. What does it taste like?
I have told this story. I had a crazy roommate one time who would keep a bag of raw ginger under her mattress and just pull it out at night and munch.
Okay, that's weird.
Okay.
I take a ginger shot every day and definitely before races, though.
Okay.
Cheers to your next half marathon.
Cheers. Oh, God. The whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
I still have more. Hold on. Wow, it's spicy.
I told you it was spicy. It's ginger.
Oh, my God. Okay, wait. I've got to finish it. I feel like a little bitch.
Those shots of tequila didn't get you ready.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
My eyes are watering.
Yeah, they will.
Wow. Okay, you guys.
You did it. Your first ginger shot.
Woo, I did it. That feels like a therapeutic way to end this. Anything else you want the people to know?
I don't think so. If you need to talk, you can reach out to me.
Oh, where can they find you?
Holly_Harrod at Instagram. Not sure.
Seems right. I'll tag you and everything. Go to our socials.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. And move. Enjoy the sunshine.
Move that body.
Move.
Oh, well, I'll do our outro while we're here. My mouth is on. I can't wait to watch this back and like zoom in on my face. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm used to it.
I
It's
feel
so
good
funny.
though.
I'll show you a video of one of my race friends' dad. So we when we raced Augusta, the half Ironman, I had several friends racing, so we stayed at one of their houses. And the first night Parker wasn't in town, so we were just with his parents. Like showed up, bikes deep. Like you'll totally have to understand all of our crap. There's 2 or 3 of us. Never met these people. And they're like, sure, the house is unlocked. We're not there, but just go on in. And we're like, oh my God, okay, like whatever. That night we took ginger shots with Parker's dad, and he said, God almighty. And I will never forget it. Like, it was the funniest thing. And he was like, ah!
That's exactly how I feel. I mean, that is intense. Also, like, whenever you put ginger and stuff, like in sushi and dishes like that, I don't get that spice. That is nuts.
I mean, it's pretty spicy.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. I'm shook.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that, you guys. Thank you so much. Seriously, I cannot thank you enough for like coming on here. I know that like your story is not the easiest to talk about and revisit, I'm sure, but thank you for doing it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for bringing a perspective that I don't have.
Absolutely.
You the best.
Thank you for having me.
All right, y'all. With that, I will close this out. New episodes drop every single Monday morning, bright and early. We are now, friendly reminder, if you are a Spotify listener, you have video now. So Spotify, if you open it, like, you know, you click play and it's like down at the bottom, click on that and pull it up to make it full screen, and you can have video too. It's really fun. So video on YouTube and Spotify, and audio only on Spotify, Google, Apple, Stitcher, literally anywhere you can find a podcast. And you can follow the show on social media at Chicks and Dip Pod. You can follow me at Lauren_Wolverton. And as Holly said, she's at Holly_Harrod. And send her a message if you guys want to talk. You'll have any follow-up questions. Reach out.
You want to run? You want to bike?
Look.
Swim lessons. I'm always taking swim lessons because I'm a horrible swimmer.
If I come running with you, can we like start small? Will you do that? Do you have time to do that?
I will take time.
Oh, maybe I'll do that.
Come
I would like, I have it honestly, once I finish sorry you guys, like I'm going to wrap it up at some point, but once I finish the only half marathon I did, I was like, okay, goodbye. And like I have hardly ran outside since. And
I thought you were going to say like you never want to do another one.
No,
You're gonna
do.
Do another one.
I'd like to do one when it's sunny.
Fun one.
Because that was the year that it was like 40 and
Oh
raining.
my God, I forgot that was your first.
That was my first. I woke up.
40 degrees, pouring.
I said, we're not doing this, right? And Cameron was like, get in the car. I said, what?
That is so funny.
I had on a trash bag and like a sweatshirt. And he told me, he's like, don't wear that sweatshirt. You're going to regret it.
You're going to regret it.
2 miles in, I was like, I need to pull over because I'm dying. Like, horrible.
I literally was in like very short race spandex and like a long sleeve, very thin pullover. But I was very glad because I like stayed under a poncho for most of it. So then when I finally took it off when the rain stopped, I wasn't just weighed down with a ton of cold water. Because I had friends that were like, I'm freezing because I'm so wet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, luckily I'm just damp.
That's
I don't have enough
the
clothes
move.
to hold water.
That's the move. I wore like a cotton sweatshirt. I threw it away. I don't even know what sweatshirt it was, but I threw it in the trash. I said, I don't care about anything right
You can
now.
collect some awesome gear around a run. Everyone losing all their stuff. It's so
shit.
funny.
God. Anyway. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I will see y'all next week. Bye.